Welcome to the last lesson in this section. In the next section, we'll be talking about combo charts, spark lines, and visuals, and all that fun stuff, so stay tuned. But for this last lesson, we'll be talking about data validation. Now imagine if Michael Scott came up to you and said, for our data sheet, can we get one of those drop-down doohickeys for the product list? And the answer to that is absolutely yes. We can absolutely make these into drop-down lists. Now, so how do we do that? We can do that by, you guessed it, data validation. So to start off with, we need to make a unique list. I'll give you a second to think about it. How can we make a unique list? We've done it in the past. Remove duplicates. That's right. So let's go ahead and copy our product list. Control-Shift down. Control-C for copy. Press Control-Up. Go to the right. Control-Right, Control-Right. Let's put it right here. Control-V for paste. And as we still have this selected, let's go to our Data tab. We'll click Remove Duplicates. Press OK. 1,280 duplicate values found and removed. 16 unique values remain. Click OK. Here we go. So this will be our data validation list. We're going to call it product list. There we go. We're going to make this into a table because just in case we want to add more items to this, we want this to be a table, a dynamic table. Because remember, anytime we add something to the bottom of a table, it includes that in the table. I'll show you what I mean in just a minute. Let's press Control-T. Click My Table Has Headers. Press OK. Now we have this table. Let's go ahead and clear the formatting. There we go. Actually, what? Let's go ahead and leave the formatting, just so you can see when we add something to it. Let's add something, and you see it's added to the list. Let's press Control-Z, Control-Z. There we go. So now we have our product list. Let's make this into a data validation. And quickly, let's go ahead and name this. Let's call it product table. There we go. So here's how data validation works. Let's say this yes or no column. If I wanted to make this entire column a data validation list, what I could do is select this column. I could go to data, go to data validation. You can either choose the drop down and click validation, or you could just click data validation. We're going to make this into a list. In the source, we can either just type what we want it to be, or we can make a separate list, which is what we're going to do with the product list. But for example, we can push no. Or actually, let's do yes first. Yes, no. Press OK. And now, we have this little drop-down list, yes and no, on each one of these. Cool, huh? Now for this one, it doesn't matter too much because there are only two options. But if you had a longer list with more complex words, it might be beneficial to make a drop-down list or data validation list. So that we have that, I'm going to click on our product list. And we're going to go up until we see the black arrow. We're going to click, go down some. So now it's selecting everything in the table, but not the table header though. So we're going to select that. We're going to go to Formulas. Now we're going to use our name manager. We haven't really touched this in this course. We're going to go ahead and select the name manager. Now we're going to create a new name. I'll show you why in just a minute. But for right now, we're going to choose. The name will of course be product list. And notice how when it says refers to, it's saying product list, or it's saying product table, and then it's saying the first column, which is product list. That's why we selected everything except for the header, because if we selected the header, let's go ahead and cancel out of this. If we selected all of this, watch what would happen. Go to the name manager, press new, product list, it'll say refers to, hashtag all, product list. We don't want that because if we had other columns here, We don't want it to be confused. We just want this one column. Go ahead and close. And select that, or we could just drag here, select all of that. Go to our name manager. We're going to call this our product list. And press OK. Now there it is. So now you can see the difference between our product table and our product list. So these are two different things. So the product list refers to the name that we just made. The product table refers to the actual table. I'm going to go ahead and close that. Now press Control Home. Now we're going to make this column right here, not that one. There we go. I'm going to select that. Now it's selecting everything in this column, but just in the data set. So now we're going to go to our Data tab. I'm going to click Data Validation. We're going to select a list. Why do we have to go to the name manager, then make that into a named range and all that? Well, the reason for that is that we can't simply go equals product table. Let's see what happens. Nope, it's not going to let us. It recognizes that it's a table, but for some reason it doesn't let us do that. So that's why we had to add it to our name manager. Product list. Press OK. And now it looks like it's letting us. Let's go to Roadrunner, click down, and sure enough, it gives us that drop-down list. And watch what happens. Let's go ahead and go over here. Let's go Control-Shift down. Let's alphabetize this. I'm going to sort it from A to Z. There we go. So when you first click the drop-down list, you'll know kind of where everything's at. Let's press Control Home. Over here. And what do you know? Everything is alphabetized. So whatever we do to that table, it's going to change how the drop-down list works. Let's go ahead and add something to the table. Go something. You notice it's not alphabetized because we added it to the bottom. Now we can still filter it, but let's keep it like that for now. Press Control Home. Use the drop-down list. Sure enough, there it is. So now you kind of know the basics of data validation. That's usually what I use it for. There are some other ways you can use it. For instance, if we went to our lookup sheet, we could make this into a drop-down list. We could make a unique list of customer names there. But the reason I wouldn't do that is that we have about 80 customers. So imagine a list of 80 customers. That's going to be a bit tedious. So for this one, it actually makes more sense just to be able to type the first name and then look it up. So for this one, it wouldn't work, but you can imagine the power of just a little drop-down list. Let's say if we only had 10 customers, you would click there, click the right one that you wanted, then it pull up all the information. So that would be useful. But for this one, we're just going to leave it as is. I hope this was helpful, and I'll see you again in the next section dealing with data and visuals. Stay tuned.